Vibes Podcast is a platform featuring Kay Johnson, the Vibe Master. She creates a space for current and future generations to combine thoughts and lights in areas of education, economics, excellence, and all vibes of self-care. On this podcast, you can expect cursing, laughing, crying, and praying, with a mixture of compelling practices about the art of learning, expressing, transforming, and leading yourself. We will be featuring authors, politicians, pastors, educators, industry leaders, executives, world changers, action takers, and vision casters. Calmly tune in, remain turned on, stay tapped in, and to learn more about vision and vibes, visit inspiredbosses.com.
Hey, what's up? So it is Kay Johnson here, and today our topic is your problem is not him. You don't love yourself enough. Okay, this is gonna hurt for some people. This is gonna be a confirmation for others, and some of this is gonna teach enough of us to learn how to love ourselves. And so if you don't know anything about me, my story starts, when I was young. It's been started. My story is still being written. When we talk about self-love is important because self-love is like that piece that unlocks the love in all of our relationships. It unlocks the love for our passion and our talent, because we know, if you're a little, spiritual, that what flows or comes from the heart flows to the heart and reaches the heart. And a lot of times we have a lot of resentment and bitterness and anxiety and worry and loneliness and confusion in our hearts because of the things that we've experienced and have not confronted. So this topic today is you are the problem. Your problem is not him. You don't love yourself enough. Sorry. Your problem is not him. You don't love yourself enough. How did I come to this? After dating so many different guys, I realized I'm the problem. I don't love me enough. I want this person to prioritize me. I want this person to serve me. I want this person to cater towards me. I want this person to be considerate of me. I want this person to respect me. I want this person to trust me. I want this person to do all these things, right? Yet, I did not have that same level of expectation from myself. And nobody really taught me to have a level of expectation from myself to myself. And so it took me having relationships that failed to teach me this is where you failed. You failed to respect yourself. You failed to create boundaries that help you. You failed to realize some things about yourself. So when those things are your blind spot because you haven't necessarily learned how to love yourself, then that's what you get. You get a lot of blaming and saying somebody else is the problem when, truthfully, you're the problem. Well, they're not the problem. The problem is your perspective. Okay, let me be very gentle when I say this. You're not your own problem. It's just the perspective that you have from life has affected you. And a lot of the times our self-worth, our self-image has been affected in many ways we haven't truly understood now. But there are new studies in psychocybernetics, in psychiatry, in psychology, that the self-image plays a huge role into our successes, our foundation, and into our growth and our perspective of how we see ourselves. So if you got your beginner's vibe guide, the Millennial Success Map, I want you to open it to page 17 because that is where we talk about self-love. Vibe number 2, self-love. Okay? This book is a short book. It is readable. It is all the things you can put in your pocket. You can share with people. You can order one. Go and order you one right now. If you want to learn more about self-love and so many other components of self that is going to lead to your success, it's important that you have this in your mind and do this for yourself, okay? So let's get into self-love just a little bit. I think one of the things that I learned coming out of failed relationships, which I wrote about in vibe number 2, is understanding your love language. Some people don't believe in this, but I think it's a good starting point for if you're a beginner. Okay, if you're a beginner, understanding the language of love, understanding that everybody has not had the same foundation or the same background when it comes to loving and communicating and expressing love. So I want you to start to think about, how do you communicate love for yourself? Some of the ways that I was able to communicate love to myself was just being able to sit with myself and spend time with myself, whether that was eating some of my favorite foods. But see, this can be tricky. When you eat, eating can be a distraction to some of the things that you have going on in your life. It can be one of your things that you do to distract yourself from having a confrontational conversation with self. So be weary, or not be weary, but be cautious and reassessing how you've loved yourself. I'm just talking about me, whether that's taking yourself out on a date. Okay, I hear people say that all the time. Take yourself out on a date. That's weird. That's uncomfortable. That's the point. Be cautious in doing this. Don't be telling everybody around the world, "Oh, I'm taking myself on a date today." Don't be posting to the whole world on Instagram and all the other social media forums. Don't be doing that. This is about you. You being intentional with you. A lot of people that think that self-love is just going to get your nails done or getting your toes done or getting a massage. I mean, that's not self-love. That's more like self-maintenance. And self-care equals self-maintenance. But when we think about self-love, it's more so about, how do you speak to yourself? When you say you love somebody, what do you do to them? You take time, you talk to them on the phone, you text with them, you communicate with them. If you're really healthy in your relationships, you take time to make sure that they are understood. So do you understand yourself? That is a part of loving yourself. Do you understand your wants and your don't wants? Do you understand your likes and your dislikes? Do you understand your strengths and your weaknesses? So we already talked about self-acceptance. So when we build on self-love, we begin to accept things about us, like our strengths and our weaknesses. Because a lot of time, the reason why we still lack self-love is because we have not looked in the mirror and said, "I love you for who you are." A lot of the times we lack self-love is because we have not taken the time to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, "This is who you are, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for coming out on top, for being the person that does this. I am proud of you even in your failures. You attempted, you made an attempt." But self-love is just like, I remember seeing something on Instagram where this baby was just kissing herself all over the mirror. And I said, that is the epitome of self-love. Can you love yourself through everything? Maybe you're in your 30s now. Maybe you're in your 40s. Maybe you're in your 20s. Maybe you're in your teens. And you're having trouble looking at that person, that self in the mirror and saying, "I love you." And the lack of love comes out in different ways. It comes through self-disrespect. You allow people to talk to you any type of way. You put yourselves in relationships that don't grow you. You continue to put yourselves in relationships that stifle your ability, that stifle your purpose, that distract you and pull you away from what you're really invited to do in life. Lack of boundaries. Some of us, the reason why we lack boundaries is because no one has modeled what boundaries look like in our lives. Some of us who have grown up without their father present in the home, we lack boundaries because we don't know what it's like to have a man in the home. So when we start to date, because again, your problem is not him, you don't love yourself. When we start to date, we overshare. We give people space and room to us that they have not earned. And a part of setting boundaries is learning how to help people either earn a spot or stay where they are. So I can see a lack of self-love when you don't have tough conversations with yourself. When you lack boundaries, when you're disrespectful to yourself by the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you carry yourself and the way you don't protect who you are. So your problem is not him when you're dating. It's you don't love yourself. A lot of times, well, he did this to me and he cheated on me, but why? And not why did he cheat on you? Why are you in that relationship when you don't even truly understand yourself? All of us are not fortunate to come to understand who we are by bad relationships. Some things can be so detrimental to you that it has a stronghold on you. And I say this with love because we're not all granted that immediate lesson and learning. Oh, I love myself now because I didn't love myself then. That's why I'm having this conversation with you, because you want to be very cautious about the space and the access that you give people. And it's something to be practiced. It's not going to be something overnight. You got to do it one time and then do it again and then do it again. But see, when you start to learn and study yourself, you'll start to say, oh, I don't want to hang out with these type of people. I don't want to listen to this type of music. I don't want to go to this place. I want to, for me, when I was in college, I remember going on a fast or a consecration. And I was consecrating from listening to any new music, watching any TV, cursing, drinking. I was consecrating from so much, y'all. And I remember my friends hanging out with my friends. And because I shared with them what I was doing, they were able to not only support me, but hold me accountable to what I said. And I remember being in one of my friends' boyfriend's house at the time. And they was like, hold on, don't turn the TV on. Kate not watching TV right now. And it was so beautiful because I understood that friend was a friend to me. And that friend understood the path that I was on. And even if she didn't truly, fully understand, she respected me enough in what I shared with her as a friend to protect me from someone she knew that it hadn't been communicated with yet. So, and when I say him, I'm saying him represents a lot of the relationships we're in. The problem is not that person. The problem is your lack of time that you spent with yourself to get to know yourself. And I know we live in a world that has an obligation over here. You got to be here. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do that. But at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, you got to do for you. So your problem is not him, them, all that. It's that you don't love yourself. You haven't created boundaries that are going to protect you. You haven't communicated to people, this is what I'm not doing right now, because you're attempting to get better. You're taking a step to get better in your life. You're taking a step to become the highest version of yourself. You're taking a step to walk into your purpose. And when we say walk, we mean walking is something that you learn by mistakes. You don't know how to do it exactly up front. And I thank God for this, because this is for me too. There is a path that is connected to our purpose. You can see it, but it's a whole other thing to walk it. And a lot of the time we don't love ourselves because we're too busy looking at somebody else over there that's doing something that they're supposed to be doing, and we wishing that we could do what they're doing. And that's just backwards, because you're alive to do what you're supposed to do. You're allowed to live a life that you're supposed to live. So I want to tell you to make investments in yourself. Kiss yourself in the mirror. Get you this book and study this book as you study yourself. That's what it's for. Beginner's Vibe Guide, the Millennial Success Map. Okay? Take photos of yourself when you are at the pinnacle of your joy. When you are your most happiest. Take a picture of yourself. Record yourself in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to, as much as you record the times that you're down on yourself, you're feeling like a failure, you want to record those times that you feel your best, your greatest. You are God-given, okay? So I need you to, if you believe that this message was like so on time for you, it was a confirmation for you, it was a push for you, it was a aha moment for you, I want you to go ahead and cash up me $11. I want you to put your money where your brain is now. I want you to put your money where your mind is now. I want you to invest in your future. It's something about investing in our future that helps us get to our future, because it solidifies that moment when you said, I'm going to change. Whether it's a sacrifice or it's a true and genuine investment. $11. And then the next thing I want you to do, you can invest in any one of those at the bottom of the screen. The next thing I want you to do is share this with 7 people who need to hear this. Tag them, share this with 7 people who you know need to hear a message about self-love. Okay? I love you so much, friend, family. It's going to be all right. And the more that you love yourself, you're going to see the scars and the wounds in those relationships become healed. You're going to become a healing part of yourself. The version of you that was in the past that was wounded and hurt is going to become healed. And you're going to continue to walk in your purpose. Okay? I love y'all, family. Peace and vibe out. Share this with 7 people. Don't forget.
You've just tuned into Vision and Vibes, a weekly podcast brought to you by Inspired Bosses. For more books, speaking engagements, or workshops, visit inspiredbosses.com.